Hello everyone, in this video I will show you how to create automated email newsletters in n8n. Here we are using a schedule trigger to send the newsletters on a set schedule. We are using an app called Tavili to basically come up with our content, and Tavili is free to use. Here we are using an AI agent to plan the entire newsletter, and then we are using another AI agent to basically do a research on specifics of our newsletter, and then we are using another AI agent to edit the entire newsletter so that we have a very professional format, and then we are gonna email that. But in this case I'm just gonna save it as a draft. So with that being said, let's create this workflow from scratch. First, I'm using a trigger to send the newsletters every week, so once every week, and we are good with that. And the next thing we gotta get done is our Tavili. So for Tavili, we can just come here and we can just search, and here you need to connect your Tavili module to your API key, and it's free to get an API key for Tavili. Just go to tavili.com and get your API key, and once you have done that, just paste your API key here, and here we want to change this query to the following query I have here, which is AI adaptation for small businesses. I'm gonna copy that, I'm gonna paste it here, and next we need to add some options. The first thing we need to add is topic, and for the topic I'm gonna say news, and the next thing we gotta add is the time range, and for the time range I'm gonna say week, and also we need to set the max results, and for the max results I'm gonna say 2 of them. Okay, so I'm gonna execute this step so we can see the final output, and here as you can see we have some research. This is the first one, the second one, and now we need to connect this to our planning AI agent, right? So I'm gonna click on this plus sign, I'm gonna click on AI, and I'm gonna say AI agent, and here we are gonna provide it with the prompt, and I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna just copy the prompt from here. So you might ask, what does this prompt do? This prompt basically selects the URL, the title, and the content for both of these outputs. If you use this, you do not need to manually drop each one of these variables into your prompt, but if you want to do that, you can do that as well, but this is faster, so I'm just going to use that, and you can just copy mine, and here we're gonna provide it with a system message. And if I go back to my previous workflow, I'm just gonna copy this system message, and you can do the same. Basically this AI agent is our planning AI agent, so we are gonna ask it to come up with a title for our newsletter and also come up with 3 to 5 subtopics for our newsletter. So I'm gonna say planning agent, and if I run this, you see that I need to connect my chat model, and for this one we can just use any OpenAI chat model. I'm gonna use 4.1, but if I run this now, you can see that the output is not in a format that is really helpful. So if I minimize this, you can see that the output is very condensed, and it's not something that we can easily read. So in order to overcome that, we can require a specific output format, and then we can click on this, and then we can click on this, and here I'm gonna say define using a schema below. And if I go back to my n8n and if I click on this, I'm basically gonna copy this into n8n, and then this is gonna give us a better structure. So you can just copy what I have here. I'm just gonna slowly scroll through it so you can have time to copy it, and then if I run this again, you can see that we have a much better output. Okay, I'm gonna pin this so we can use it later. I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna pin this as well so we can use it later. Now that we have this first AI agent, we need to come up with our split format. So basically we have 3 topics and we want to turn each topic into its own variable so we can do research on each one of them. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna drop the topics into this section and I'm gonna execute the step, and as you can see, each one of these are now their own variables, and if I click on pin, we can use it later as well. And as you can see here, I'm now feeding these variables, these topics, into our Tavily to do further research on each specific topic. So I'm just gonna say Tavily again, and again I'm gonna choose their search function, and here for the query I'm just gonna drop this in here. And if I expand this, you can see that I have 3 of them: safe AI adaptation, MSP's role in security, and AI programs for growth, right? So it's gonna do a research on each one of these, and for this one our topic should be more general, and I want to choose a time frame that's much broader. So I'm gonna say month, and if we go back here, you can see that I have the same settings here as well. Okay, so I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna run this step, and as you can see, this step is gonna take a bit longer because we are working on 6 topics right now, so it's gonna take longer. And here we have the answer, and as you can see, these are our results. We did more in-depth research on each one of these topics, and as you can see, we have 6 of them. So I'm gonna pin this, and the next step is to connect our AI agent, and this time our AI agent is the section writer. So the section writer does writing on each individual section. So I'm gonna define the prompt here, and I'm gonna go back to my previous workflow, and I'm gonna copy this. So I'm gonna copy this, and here the topic of this research is our query, so safe AI adaptation, and this query is specific to each one of our topics. And here I'm saying research. So research is the URL, title, and content for all these sections right here. And if you want to manually drop each one of them into this section, you can do that as well, but that's gonna be time consuming. So if you use this function right here, you can overcome that pretty easily, right? So now we need to provide a system message, and I'm just gonna copy the system message from my previous workflow, and you can just copy my system message. Okay, so this is a system message, and I'm basically asking it to do more in-depth research on our subtopics. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that, and for this one we do not need to have a specific format. So I'm just gonna run this step, and as you can see, again I forgot to connect my chat model, so I'm gonna do that, and 4.1 mini works. And let me run this again, and this time should work. So this time it's gonna take again longer because you're doing more in-depth research on every single one of these subtopics, and we have 6 of them because we had 2 topics, and each topic has its 3 subtopics, right? So but we are good now. We have our output right here, and as you can see, it's pretty in-depth, right? And the next step is to go back here and aggregate all these subtopics into one basically text, and that's our newsletter. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna say aggregator, and here I'm gonna drop the output. Okay, I'm gonna drop the output, and I'm gonna run this, and As you can see here, now they're all a part of the same thing, so it's way easier to handle, and this is basically our newsletter. So I'm just gonna no, save. So I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna pin this, and I'm gonna pin this as well. And after we did this aggregation, it's time to edit it, right? So we want to have a very professional looking newsletter, and I'm gonna click on AI. I'm gonna grab my AI agent, and I'm gonna define my prompt here. And if I go back here, and if I copy this, we are good to go. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna paste it. Basically, our title comes from the planning agent. So as you remember, our planning agent came up with the topics that we are gonna use for our newsletter, and we are gonna use those titles for our topic. So basically, those topics are our title, and sections are basically all these sections here. And as you can see, we have a lot of them, right? So instead of manually going through all of these outputs, we can just use this function, and it's gonna get all of our outputs, and it's gonna put them all together. So we do not need to manually go through each one of these and drop them here. But if that's what you want to do, you can do that as well. But I'm just going to use this one. And for the system message, our system message needs to be longer for this one. And I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to copy whatever I have here. So I'm just going to copy this, and basically in this system message, I'm asking the AI agent to format it in a way that's more professional, and make sure for this one you set it as an expression, okay? And similar to the previous basically AI agent, we need to make sure we have a very structured output for this one. So I'm going to say define below, and I'm going to delete what we already have, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to copy what I have from my previous workflow. So this is my previous workflow. I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to paste it. And basically this is going to structure my output, and it's going to structure it such that I have an object that's my title for my email, because we are sending these newsletters as emails. So I have a title for my email, which is my subject, and then I have the content. I'm going to show you later how it's going to look like. But basically we need to connect our chat model, and I'm going to use OpenAI chat model, and 4.1 mini works. And here I'm going to make sure we are having a specific output format, and now we should be good. So I'm going to execute this step, and now it's going to format each of these outputs in a way that's more professional. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna connect my email draft. So I'm gonna say Gmail, and then I'm gonna, okay, we're good with this one. So let me explain this first. If I move this away, you can see that we have a subject, and then we have the content, right? This is the subject of our email, and this is the content of our email. And this is more professional looking than what we previously had. So with that being said, I'm gonna get a Gmail module, so Gmail, and I'm gonna get the one for create a draft. And here I've already connected my Gmail account, but if you haven't done that, just do so quickly. And the subject is the following subject, and the message is the content. And I'm gonna add some options. First of all, to email, I'm just gonna put my email here, but we are not really sending the message, so it's okay. And then I'm gonna make sure the email type is HTML, okay? Now we should be good to go. Let me pin this so we do not lose it. And here, let me run this entire thing. Run, and as you can see, the message was sent. Now if I go back to my drafts, and if I refresh this, you can see that time right now is 8:22. We had one at 8:21, which is the same thing. So this is the subject, and this is the basically newsletter. And as you can see, it's a pretty in-depth newsletter, right? We have all these different subsections, and here at the end we have our sources, and here we also have a conclusion, which is pretty nice. And the one thing I really like about this one is that it's very professional looking, right? It's very structured, and you can send this each week to your audience, and I believe it's a perfect tool. So if you like more of these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also let me know if you have any questions in the comment sections. Have a great day.